Hey, what is going on, everybody? Just wanted to quickly let you know about my Patreon that I started. Comes with amazing tiers. You'll be put in my description as a supporter. You can be put into my Bears franchise as a drafted player. Lots of great tiers. Check it out. Link in the description. Let's move on to the video, guys. What is going on, everybody? It is your boy, Sir MC Koi. Now, before we get this video started, I just wanted to let you guys know that the off-season stream will be happening tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern Time. It'll be right here on YouTube, so if you haven't already, click that subscribe button and click that bell so YouTube will let you know when I start streaming, because otherwise they're just not going to let you know. Classic YouTube. Alright guys, let's get into it. So the season started, obviously, in the preseason. We started with a pretty strong win against the Broncos, then being blown out by the Cardinals. This is when we made the decision that Mitch Trubisky was essentially going to be our starter, even though it wasn't officially announced until the end of the preseason. But he saw a lot more snaps, and we started to see that translate into success. Moving into the regular season, of course, starting off against the defending, losing Super Bowl team did not go well for us. We were able to turn it around, though, with a win against the Buccaneers. Jameis Winston throwing multiple picks. Then, of course, we had the simulated loss against the Steelers, which is, my fault. Moving on, the Packers, just oddly disappointing year this year, so we were able to take that victory, make it 2 in a row over divisional teams as we beat the Vikings, losing to the Ravens, though, on the road. That was a tough one, and then losing to the Panthers at home. This is where we started to heat up, though, putting up 48 points on the New Orleans Saints. And then we move into our bye week and then turn around and put 51 points up on the Packers. But this is where the season changed, as Jordan Howard went down with an injury that would take him out for the rest of the year. So at this point, we are without our superstar running back. So we go on to play the Lions, and we cannot overtake them, as has been the narrative almost all year, the inability to beat the Lions. We then turn around and beat, I believe, what was a 10-1 Philadelphia Eagles team, barely squeak out a win against the 1-win 49ers squad, nearly shut out the Bengals, and then turn around and lose to the Lions. And then the most embarrassing loss, of course, was to the 1-win, 2-win Browns at the time. Unacceptable. But then we do go ahead and move on to beat the Vikings in the final game of the season, thanks to the heroics of Eddie Jackson late in the fourth quarter. But, of course, then from there we move on to the playoffs, where then Mitch Trubisky goes down in the first quarter, and Mike Glennon just could not quarterback us to victory. Taking a quick look at standings, no surprise, the Steelers on top of the AFC North, with the Ravens and Bengals holding at the middle and the Browns at the back. The Jaguars took advantage of a somewhat weak AFC South and were able to take a playoff spot at 9-7. Very nice. Patriots, of course, 13-3. They're making the playoffs. Bills 9-7, not making the playoffs in that wild card spot because the AFC West took them all. Raiders 11-5, Chargers 10-6, and Broncos 9-7 all make it into the playoffs. Looking at the NFC North, interesting here. The Packers, despite coming back near the end of the year, just were not able to make it into the playoffs due to tiebreakers. We beat them twice. So it turned out to work pretty well for us. Falcons looking to find their way back to the Super Bowl, go 12-4. Leading the NFC South, and the Saints 9-7 are able to make that wild card spot. And in the NFC East, the Eagles, who started out hot as one of the final undefeated teams, do finish the year 12-4, and they do take sole control over the NFC East. Interesting there. And finally, the NFC West, the Seahawks 12-4. We always know that they simulate well here. Rams 8-8, just couldn't quite get there. The Cardinals 8-8, and the Niners 4-12. Now we're just going to take a look at the full season stats. Mitch Trubisky finishing the year with 4,015 yards, 24 touchdowns, 21 interceptions, 58% completion percentage. definitely want to see the interceptions go down. That's pretty obvious. And the sacks, because he was sacked 64 times. It's a lot. On the ground, Jordan Howard was our man until we lost him in Week 10. He put up 869 yards and 6 touchdowns, averaging 5.1 yards per carry. Yeah, I mean, what can you say about that? Mitch Trubisky, 48 carries, 434 yards, 3 touchdowns. Not bad for the rookie. Jared McKinnon in relief duty, 406 yards, 4 touchdowns. Again, not bad, nothing great. Definitely outplaying who we thought was going to supersede him in the depth chart, Wayne Gallman, averaging only 3.8 yards per carry, while Jared McKinnon was averaging 4.3. Both of them still a whole yard per carry behind Jordan Howard, so getting him back next year will be nice. Cameron Meredith started out super slow, and I was thinking about, trades, maybe not re-signing him. Finishes the year strong, though. 59 receptions, 813 yards, 8 touchdowns, leading the team in touchdowns, which is always nice. Zach Miller, 54 receptions, 1,077 yards. He's going to free agency, so we've got to figure out a way to bring him back, or we need to figure out a way to move on from him. Kendall Wright, 42 receptions, 447 yards, just 2 touchdowns. Not a bad year, just, I don't know. He seemed to vanish at times out there on the football field. The rookie that was released by the Steelers, Juju Smith-Schuster, 37 receptions, 639 yards, and 6 touchdowns. He had himself one hell of a year. After that, it's just more depth guys. Marcus Wheaton, 26 receptions, 431 yards, 3 touchdowns. He did a good job. But yeah, I mean, looking back at Smith-Schuster with 6 touchdowns is crazy. Hopefully, we can see him progress quite a bit thanks to that. Marcus Wheaton, as I said, did pretty good. Jarrett McKinnon wasn't bad out of the backfield. 19 for 146 and 0 yards, but Jordan Howard did 20 more yards, 5 less receptions, and 1 touchdown. So, really, just no matter what way you look at it, Jordan Howard is the premier back. And there's the 2 tight ends that we would have if it weren't for Zach Miller. Just a quick look at blocking. Josh Sitton, 2 sacks. Kyle Long, 5. Cody Whitehair, 6. Bobby Massey, 11. And Tom Compton, 11. I think I already said that. And Charles Leno, 14. Forgive me, it is early. I'm trying to get this out to you guys as soon as possible so you guys have time to know about the stream. Tackling! Terrell McFreeman, 134 tackles, leading the team. Danny Trevathan, 101. And Adrian Amos, 100. And then you got Lamar Houston, 80, Floyd, 77, Amukamara, 74, Eddie Jackson, 74. Tackles for loss leader was Akeem Hicks with 17. You've got Jarrell Freeman and Leonard Floyd both with 16, Lamar Houston with 15, Pernell McPhee with 13, and Danny Trevathan with 12. Our sack leader was a player that I wasn't even thinking about keeping at the beginning of the year, Lamar Houston with 14. And then the guy in second was a guy who was on the depth chart until we switched Pernell McPhee to defensive line. So it was moves that were made and moves that weren't made that made this team the second best sacking team in the NFL. I'm pretty content with the way that I handled it. I mean, if you look at our front 4 as it would be per se, there are, let me count real quick, there is, let's see, there's 26, 35, there's 44 and a half sacks between these 4 men right here. That's pretty impressive. That's what you like to see. And then, of course, Terrell Freeman and Danny Trevathan as outside linebackers. Both are able to get 3.5 sacks. And then our 2 defensive tackles, Eddie Goldman and Larry Ogunjobi, both getting 2 sacks. Moving on, we're going to look at interceptions. Prince Amukamara, 4 interceptions, leading the team. Danny Trevathan, 3. Eddie Jackson, 3. 2, of course, going for touchdowns. Adrian Amos had 2. Kyle Fuller had 2. I'm really confused about some of the ways that I recorded this. That's alright. Kyle Fuller with 2. see Lamar Houston, Leonard Floyd, Bryce Callahan, all with one. I'm sure there's more, but I've yet to scroll down. Marcus Cooper, and that is it. So not a bad year in terms of interceptions. I believe we finished second in the league in terms of interceptions. Forced fumbles, Jarrell Freeman with 4. I mean, is that really a surprise to anyone? Keem Hicks and Ogunjobi both with 2. Interesting to see Ogunjobi there. Danny Trevathan with 1 and Jay Howard with 1 of our depth guys. But then you look at the fumble recoveries, we only have 2. Jarrell Freeman and Lamar Houston. So we did a decent job at forcing them, but couldn't get them. Marcus Cooper with the 1 blocked kick of the year for us. The 1 safety of the year goes to Lamar Houston. And then defensive touchdowns, we got a few. Eddie Jackson with 2. Which, I mean, this dude is spectacular. Lamar Houston with 1. Marcus Cooper with 1. Keem Hicks with 1. And Adrian Amos with 1. Connor Barth was 33 of 37 for field goals, 2 of which were blocked, though. And extra points, he was a perfect 100%. Very nice. The veteran coming through. Pat O'Donnell, not bad punting. 52 punts, 21 of which were inside the 20, 7 of which were for touchbacks, and a long of 73. Not bad. Take a quick look at our returns. Jared McKinnon, 1,200 yards and 2 touchdowns on the kick return. That's pretty good. I'll take it. Punt return, 382. No touchdowns. Alright, now we are just going to take a quick look at the season leaders throughout the NFL. Aaron Rodgers, of course, leading the way in yards, and it's not even close. And the same goes to say for touchdowns. He leads the way in the league, and it is not even close. But, of course, that is just Aaron Rodgers. Interceptions, hey, Mitch Trubisky did not lead the league. Jameis Winston did. So nice to see that. They've got that little advantage going for us. Running, of course, Le'Veon Bell leads the league in rushing. No surprise there. Touchdowns, Todd Gurley with 20 touchdowns on the ground. And the fumble leader for halfbacks is Jay Ajayi. Interesting. Todd Gurley's right there too, which is shocking. And then we'll take a look at the receiving leaders. Receptions. Odell Beckham and Randall Cobb, Emmanuel Sanders, Jordy Nelson all break 100. Julio leading the way in receiving yards with 1679. And touchdowns, Emmanuel Sanders with 15 touchdowns. Your tackle leader is Navarro Bowman. Vincent Ray, Wesley Woodard, Ryan Shazier, Alden Smith had himself one hell of a year. J.J. Watt had 25 tackles for a loss, 24 for Sue, 19 for Casey, and there you go. There's Jarrell Freeman right up there. Okay, very nice. Of course, now, be aware that some of these stats do not show for the NFL, like the full NFL, like sometimes players just don't come up. Melvin Ingram leads the way to 19 sacks. See, there is no Lamar Houston, even though we know he has 14 sacks. He's not on this list. But, so it goes. Tremaine Brock leads the way with 7 interceptions. There are those 2 Lions corners, Nevin Lawson and Darius Slate, both with 6 apiece. I mean, that's pretty crazy. Certainly did a little thing there. Going back to forced fumbles, Ryan Kerrigan with 5. And then we've just got a lot of players with 4, including, of course, our own Jarrell Freeman. Fumble recoveries, Carlos Dansby had 3, as did Sean Smith. So middle linebackers, right place, right time. Blocked kicks, we saw quite a few of them this year. Safeties, of course we're not going to see ours here, but Carlos Dansby, K1 Short, and Clayton Gaithers all got safeties themselves. And defensive touchdowns, no love for Eddie Jackson on this list. And take a quick look at kick returning, and look at that, Jared McKinnon led the NFL in kickoff return yards by quite a large margin and was tied for the top in kickoff return touchdowns. Take a quick look at just overall team stats, as you'll see our total offense. It's more towards the bottom half. It's not. It was mediocre, basically. Wasn't really in the top half, wasn't really in the bottom half, it was just kind of right there in the middle. terms of passing offense, we were near the bottom. And rushing, we were kind of up there. Defense is where we thrive. The third best overall defense. When it comes to pass defense, find ourselves sitting at 10th place in the pass defense. But then we also sport the #1 rush defense in the NFL. In terms of points allowed, we're not too bad. 7th place there for points allowed. Not too bad. Sacks, 2nd in the league in sacks, only behind the Philadelphia Eagles. Fumbles, we're last. No surprise there. And interceptions, find ourselves in quite a tie for 4th, 5th place. I'm not sure, but it's a large tie. Finally, we're just going to take a look at some player awards. Aaron Rodgers won the MVP. I mean, there's really no shock there. This is more just see who did it and look for Bears players, as it always tends to be. So there's Coach of the Year. No love for John Fox. Offensive Player of the Year. We are just going to go through the AFC ones real quick, just to give them some love. Aldon Smith wins Defensive Player of the Year. Deshaun Watson, AFC Offensive Rookie of the Year. Leonard Fournette, the runner-up. Defensive Rookie of the Year in the AFC is no surprise. Myles Garrett, not bad. Best quarterback, Tom Brady. Best running back, Le'Veon Bell. Best wide receiver, Emmanuel Sanders over Antonio Brown. Best offensive lineman, Marshall Yanda. Best defensive lineman, Melvin Ingram, getting a nod there. Best linebacker, Aldon Smith. Best defensive back, Tremaine Brock. And best kicker, Chris Boswell. So no surprise, Aaron Rodgers, Offensive Player of the Year. No love for the Bears there. Bobby Wagner wins Defensive Player of the Year. Again, no love for the Bears. Mitch Trubisky wins Offensive Rookie of the Year. Very nice. And Juju Smith-Schuster comes in on the short list at number 7. Defensive Rookie of the Year, Reuben Foster will take that crown. Any love for Eddie Jackson? There he is at number 9. Not bad for Eddie Jackson. Best quarterback, Aaron Rodgers. No real surprise there. Mitch Trubisky does make the short list at number 10. Very good. Running back, we're not going to have anybody there since Jordan Howard went down. This would probably have been his award, but so it goes. Again, best receiver. Don't really see anybody in that list. Nope. Marquez Wilson, though. Not bad. Best O-line, Alex Mack takes that home. We're not going to have anybody here either. Best D-line, maybe, but no. Best linebacker, we've got to have someone. There is Lamar Houston coming in at number 4. Not bad. No love for Jarrell Freeman. Best defensive back, Darius Slayton, Evan Lawson, of course. No love for Amukamara. And best kicker, hey, Connor Barth. He's getting some love there. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. Remember, the stream will be at 8 p.m. Tuesday, November 21st. That is today. 8 p.m. Eastern right here on YouTube. Like the video, subscribe, and I hope to see you guys then.
Back from the dead.